Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of TGTT. Today we have all of our podcast members, so this is a rare thing. We're not usually all together, but today we're all here. So today on the podcast we have Suede.
Hi, Suede. Daniela.
Hi, Suede.
Daniela.
Melanie.
Amy.
Arisha.
Jamil.
Mariluz.
And Carol.
Yes. So we have all of our podcast members today, and today we are talking about, drumroll, modesty. So first of all, let's have a quick definition of modesty. We're really talking about modesty more in like clothing. And according to Wikipedia,
Oh, shoot.
no, this is a great source, but the term modest fashion or modest dressing refers to fashion trend in women wearing less skin-revealing clothes, especially that satisfies their spiritual and stylistic requirements for reasons of faith, religion, or personal preference. So really, it's more, modest clothing usually is less revealing, less tight, things like that. So, you
Okay, but it's not cute.
don't think it's cute?
I think it can be. It
There
can
are a
be.
lot that
It
are
definitely
cute.
can
Let's
be.
first-
a lot that's cute.
Let's first talk about what we think of modesty and if we like follow modesty and like what that kind of means to us. So for me, I personally dress like I dress pretty modestly. That's a lot because of my religion. I am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, nicknamed Mormon, because I know that's a long name, y'all. And we really value like modesty and wearing not super revealing clothing, things like that. So you see me like I'm never wearing like crop tops or like things like that. Or I'm never
Even
wearing
though
bikinis.
I could see your stomach sometimes.
Oh my goodness. I'm always like dressed very like I guess you would call it conservative. So and that's a lot to do with because like of my religion. So Melanie?
I'm more so, it depends on the occasion. Like, I think a lot about where I'm going, who I'm going to be with. Like, for example, when I went to your birthday party, I was very careful to choose something that was kind of modest, you know, because just to, like, respect, you know, how you are and your family and everything. So, for me, it's not, like, a personal preference. I'm not, like, the kind of person who's going to go out there, like, showing off, you know, but I'm also not super conservative in the way I dress. I just think of it in like, depending on the situation, I'll choose how I dress.
Yeah, I feel like same with Melanie. Like, I dress, depends what I'm with, because if I'm with my dad, so I'm gonna wear like, you know, regular stuff. But if I'm like hanging out with the girlies or whatever, like, I'll wear what I'm feel more
Your dad's gonna whip out the chancla, just...
Yeah, the But also, like, again, like Sadie, I don't have much to show, so it's like whatever. Like, also, because also I feel like in like bigger girls, people think like modesty is kind of different.
Yeah.
And like people have
That's
different
true.
things.
Because people, like, a girl who has, like, people with different bodies could wear the same thing, and one of them
Yeah.
is considered less modest, just because of
Exactly.
the way that it looks.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird.
See, personally, for school, I just, like, grab whatever I find. Like, the first thing I see.
But it's dress code.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, all my clothes is dress code. Like,
Me too.
anyway. So, but when I go out, I don't know, I think it's kind of hard because I feel like the way you dress has to do a lot of, not if you like the clothes itself, but if it looks good on you. So sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish I could wear like low waisted jeans, you know, the ones that, but it just, I don't like the way it looks on me because, and I wish it looked good, I guess, or like it looked like it looks on like other girls, but it just doesn't. So like I can't really wear that because I'm like, it just doesn't look good. I don't like the way it looks. I don't like the way I feel. So it's sometimes I dress a certain way, not because I want to or because I want to be modest, but because I don't like how other things look on me.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cause same for
I think like what Melanie was saying, like if I'm going out like with friends, I'll dress differently than how I would, let's say, going to church or going to school. Like at school, you guys always see me. I kind of look like I'm homeless half the time. And then, for church, I dress a little nicer, but more conservative, like suede, because it's church. And then, like, if I'm going out with my friends, like, sometimes, yeah, I'll wear, like, my crop tops or, like, I hate low-rise jeans, so I never wear them. But I always, like, wear high-waisted, and I just, like, I guess it's just depending on the occasion and everything that I'll dress, like, more conservative than other places or other things.
I think that what Melanie said is like really universal. Depending on where you're going and who you're with, you would dress differently. And like for me, I'm kind of on the thicker side, so half the clothes I do wear that seem to be modest for other people is not as modest for me. But like typically, I try to be like the middle. Like I'll go venture out as being more, I don't know, have more revealing clothes and then have more non-revealing clothes. Just see whatever I feel that day.
So I've said this in a couple episodes ago or something like that, but I am Muslim and we are we're very strict on modesty. And the way I dress now is literally like either sweatpants and hoodies or like a t-shirt and jeans, stuff like that. For me, I mean, for my religion, that's not modest at all. Like, even though I don't like show too much skin or stuff like that, like, for example, they're like, oh, you shouldn't be even like showing your like arms and stuff like that. Like, the most you could probably show is your hands, but like some people go like all the way to like not even showing their whole face except their eyes. But yeah, no, basically my religion is really heavily relied on modesty, and I think it's a good and bad thing in a way because it kind of like forces you to like wear stuff that you would rather wear something else, so but I dress pretty modestly in my opinion, but it's still not as modest as I'd wish it would be or as my religion wishes it would be. So yeah, that's basically that.
I think I dress pretty radically compared to a lot of people. A lot of the clothes that I do wear are cut to be shorter.
Yeah.
That's just how I like dressing. I do agree that there's a time and place. It depends. I don't even think it depends that much with the people that you're with, because, I mean, if it's your family who doesn't like that, or, that, I would dress modestly. If it's people that I choose to hang around that don't like the way that I dress, then I'm not hanging around those people. That's just that. I don't really go to church, so that's not like an issue for me. Let's say if I did go to Swade's house, I would dress more modestly. But I don't dress that modestly. Also, I do have a bigger chest, so a lot of times when I do try to dress modestly, it doesn't look too modest.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that is like a pretty big issue. Is like two people could wear the same thing, but because they have different bodies, it's not considered modest on one of them. Like, I see a lot of girls walking into school with their butts like almost out, and nobody says anything. But then I'll wear a skirt that is like past my fingertips, and I get stopped in the hallway every single time I wear a skirt. Every single time I wear a skirt, even if it's like past my fingertips, like past where it needs to be, I always get stopped. There's always an issue, and so I think that that's definitely something that we can talk about.
But I feel like even as society, like what we say, like before, what we think is modest now, like before we did not think was modest. Like even today, honestly, in my opinion, like crop tops and whatever, I don't think that's like not modest. Like that can still like you're not showing anything, like So I just think that's pretty modest. But I know like before and like our parents' time and whatever, that would be like illegal or something. I don't know, but like like
I think society has gotten to a point where like even just like a few decades ago, people were not wearing the things that we wear now. Like they would not even they would never show their stomach, their shoulders always were covered. Their ankles were always covered, and that was just the norm. Like you never ever saw a girl's knees, and that wasn't weird. It was literally so normal. But nowadays, everybody is wearing like a lot shorter things, like shorter skirts, shorter tops, like tiny little tops, where like years ago those would be seen as like the greatest atrocity. Now you just like walk into Walmart and you'll see girls in like these little itty bitty string tops.
Yeah.
It's normal.
But like I like same thing. But my parents, like I have Hispanic parents, and they're like, So I would be like in a mall, and my parents would be like, "Oh my God, look at her! Like, oh my God, she's wearing that. How can they go out like that? Like, whatever." And we're like,
See, I have Hispanic parents, but it's like the opposite. My mom, she like sees somebody wearing something like that, and she's like, "Look, you're old enough to be wearing stuff like that. You need to start wearing stuff like that before you get to my body."
"Really?"
And I'm like, "Wow." First of all,
Yeah. No, my mom will only like talk about it if it like looks bad on them and like. But if it doesn't, then like.
No, yeah, like I went to like Aventura Mall, like 3 months ago, and like, there was this girl wearing like a bikini like bottom, but just like rhinestones, like a whole thing of rhinestones on top. And my parents were like, "Oh my God, look at her! How could you wear that outside or whatever?" And it was just like, oh, but she was literally just wearing a bikini with like a cover on.
But I think that change in like what we consider modest, it hasn't been like a worldwide thing, because like in other places, like different countries, different places have different ideas of modesty. Like I remember, if anyone else is into K-pop, they'll probably know this, but Lisa from Blackpink wore this like sleeveless top to like an award show, and she got so much backlash in Korea. Like they were calling her atrocious things because she showed her shoulders.
and that's not even like North Korea, it's South Korea.
Yeah, and even them, like even their idea of modesty, I've seen has like gotten a little more open, but she got a lot of backlash for that. So it's like not like a universal thing, I guess. And like there are different ideas of modesty. Like in some places in Europe, women go swimming like topless.
Yeah.
And that's considered normal.
I just feel like it depends on culture more than it does on like the actual country. So like the background, you have to understand that there's the like back history to every country and to every person. So it just depends on that rather than I live in USA so I can dress this way. Also that does affect, but I feel like it's more your morals and what you believe is.
Yeah, exactly.
The USA is also a melting pot. That's why you see so many different opinions clashing. Some people are like, well, you have to dress modestly. You have to. They come from a country that dresses like that. And then others are like, let's say you came from Cuba. A lot of Cubans, they don't dress modestly. Why? They didn't have that much clothing over there.
It was also hot as hell over there. It is so hot. If you've ever been to Cuba, it's like it's
horrible.
You're melting.
I also want to get like, what do you guys think makes something modest?
Wait, before we go there, like again with the countries and peoples thing, that's why every time we go to Slade's house, we all think, we have to dress a little bit more conservatory.
Because, and I don't tell you guys to do that, but just even just from seeing the way I dress and from like seeing the way I act, you just like understand that. But first of all, that's crazy. Like, how have we evolved as a species? Just be like, oh, she looks like that. That means I should
look like that. But okay, what were you saying?
I was gonna say, what do you guys think makes something modest? Because like for me, modesty is like not like showing anything that's like too revealing. I'm not like super worried about it per se. Like I know there's some people in my church who like won't even like wear leggings and things because they think is too revealing. But I don't personally view it that way. I just like think that if you are like, it depends for me more on your mindset.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say.
If my mindset, if I walk out and a little bit of my stomach is showing, and my mindset isn't, I want to show some of my stomach, and somebody says, your stomach's showing, I said, and I'll pull it down. Like, because that's not something I'm trying to show off. It's not something like I'm trying to like show. That's what it is for me, is like the intention. And I know like for my modesty, I don't like showing or not that I don't like, but I try not to show my stomach or like my shoulders or things like that, or I try not to wear like short shorts. So things like that. So what do you guys like, what is your personal view of like what is modest to you?
Well, personally, I do think it relies a lot on mindset as well, but I think that it's like, I think intention is also there. I think that your intentions are kind of reflected in how you end up looking. Like if you go out saying, I'm going to show off as much as I can to go and get somebody's attention to show this off, then that's like not modest. But if you're like showing a little bit of stomach, or you're like showing your legs, or you're wearing a short skirt, but it's just because you think you look good, just because you think that that looks good on you, or it's comfortable, and it's not because you're trying to show off or get attention, I think that that is a little more modest. I see it more in that way.
Yeah, but like I don't even think like, oh, I want to dress modest. I just would dress what like what I want to wear and whatever. But I also like circumstances like, oh, we're going over here, I'm going to church or whatever, then I'll dress good for the other people, not really because like, but also I feel good in my own thing. But also it's like if I want to wear heels to the supermarket and wear whatever, I will do it. Like it's whatever. Like it's my body. I can choose whatever.
You and we're gonna rent out some like big princess gowns and go to Walmart in them.
Yeah,
yes.
And that's like, but like there could be, but again, even like quinceañera dresses and whatever. Y'all seen how people are like, cause before modesty, like, yeah, but also like out of cultural norms. Like you know how people are renting like black quince dresses nowadays. That's so cool. It looks so amazing. But like before, that would be like ew.
Yeah, and the alternative wedding dresses too. Like people are not. There are more people now who are not wearing white wedding dresses.
Yeah, but like it's like, but some people are like.
Okay. I want to get Arisha's opinion too because
I do want to get Arisha's opinion.
I want like because of your religion, what is viewed as modest, what isn't.
So for us, women are the ones who are supposed to be like very modest. Well, men as well, but I'm more educated on the women's part, obviously, because I am a woman. But basically, modesty for us is wearing clothes and like other things, like for example the hijab or something like that. But wearing clothes that don't show your shape at all. So they have like very baggy, like I don't know what it's called, but it basically is from your shoulder to all the way to your toes or something like that, and it has like no like shape revealing type of things, stuff like that. So that's viewed as a modest for us. What isn't viewed as modest is like wearing tight clothes, showing off, either like some cleavage or butt or whatever. Even if it's like a little bit or something like that, that's not modest at all. Like even showing the shoulders, like how Suede used to mention, showing the shoulders.
Your religion's views are like a more like extreme version of mine. Like mine's just like toned down, but still, what is like the reason behind dressing like that?
The reason, that's actually a really good question. The reason behind like dressing like that is because like you're supposed to be kept for God, like basically like, and like not for other people who you aren't gonna be with in the future. Like for example, if you're like gonna have a partner in the future or like a husband in the future or stuff like that, your shape and everything is only meant for those eyes, and not for any outsiders or something like that, because that's just viewed as like messed up or inappropriate in a way. And it's just more so modesty like towards God. So
so but in your case it doesn't even have to be like revealing, because remember in the definition it was like revealing clothing. It doesn't, like in your case it can't even show the shape or whatever. That's not
because to them that's revealing. So to different people, different things are revealing. Like to me, I always like wear tight tops and like tight pants, but because I like that style. But to me, I'm not being revealing because I'm not showing like as much skin. So that's what it means to me.
What I was gonna say, I feel like modesty is not so much on your head, but on the head of the people around you. Like modesty is set by the people around you, not by you. Like even if you think like, oh, I'm dressing, I'm not showing much or whatever, but then you go and you surround yourself by people who think otherwise, then you're gonna start thinking otherwise. I feel like it's not so much about what we think, but what the people around us think. So.
But that's what's like everything, though. Like everything, you always get influenced by other people, and then they're always gonna influence your beliefs.
There's also we talk a lot about like the backlash on people who don't dress modestly, but there's also people being criticized for dressing modestly.
Yeah.
For example, Muslim women, people are saying, "Oh, you're being trapped. You're being like, forced to dress in a way." But it's like, it's a choice.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it's definitely a choice. Like me, like, not wearing the hijab or something like that, like, sometimes I do want to wear the hijab. Like, it's not because I'm being forced to wear the hijab. Or, like, with other people wearing, that's, Jamil just showed me a picture of it, or the name of it. It's called a niqab, which is basically everything covered except for your eyes. That's, people do that with their own choice. Like, it's not something that you should force upon yourself. Like, it should be like, oh, I feel like doing this, and then, like, slowly grow into it and stuff like that. But they have backlash for no reason.
Yeah, like there's a lot of people who, for dressing modestly, people are like, oh, you're being brainwashed, you're being forced into this, just be, and sometimes it's just a personal choice.
Exactly. Oh my god, you guys remember Billie Eilish when she used to wear, like, really baggy clothes and stuff?
Yeah.
And then people would hate on her so much, and for what?
And then one day she wore
did
like a normal shirt, like everybody was calling her, and they were like, oh my god, like.
That's what I wanted to get into next.
Before we get into that, Jamimi, could you come from a Jamaican background? I kind of want to know what you, like, how y'all take it.
With modesty?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to come back to me for that.
Do your parents have any, like, views, like, oh, you can't show your shoulders or you can't do things like that? Or is there really no kind of dress code per se?
I would say technically there's there's not really much of a dress code. People dress like a lot of different ways down there, but it just depends on like where in Jamaica, like if you're in the countryside or the city side, is like you see people dressing differently, like maybe more like tank tops. There's a lot of people that wear tank tops and shorts because it is hot down there. It's really hot. So like it just depends on where you are, and people won't see. They'll make comments and stuff, but like it's more normal down there if you like wear something short because it's your climate.
Yeah.
Same
Come on.
with the Caribbean.
Caribbean, Colombia.
Yeah. But I wanted to get back into, Carol was talking about Billie Eilish and her catcalling. So I know some people are talking about catcalling, and then you have some of those people that will say, oh, it's because you dress that way. And before we judge too harshly, those people that say that get a lot of hate. But to be honest, I might agree a little bit. Because not saying that catcalling is okay, because that's not okay. You, as another person, should never want to hurt another person. That is not okay. But I think that if you are going out of your way to like wear a tiny top, even if just because you think it looks cute and you're going out into public like that, obviously you're going to get some kind of attention.
It shouldn't be, obviously, though, because the thing is that we shouldn't have a say on people's bodies, and that's why modesty is like a thing where I was saying, like, it's set by the people around you, and we shouldn't be able or have the right to say or feel entitled to be like, oh, Amy looks so good on that, or like, oh, Arisha should wear that, or like, we shouldn't have a say on what people wear or not wear, because it's like, it's not your problem, mind your own business.
I think that it's a more important responsibility for the people around us, for all of us to be like respectful of each other, rather than us having to like limit ourselves and change how we are or how we express ourselves so that we don't get things like that, because people should just be good human beings.
Doesn't even have to be about expression, because we live in Florida. Florida's really hot.
Yeah.
I go out a lot in tank tops, shorts, because I have to. It's so hot. I can't do it. And so sometimes I'll go out into, like, let's say a mall, and I'm wearing something revealing, not because I'm, trying to get any attention or anything. I just want to go out and not be so hot and not be sweating all day and be feeling horrible. And then you go into the mall and people are looking at you and staring at you, and I'll see older men going like what is that?
But again,
that's not on me.
Yeah, but I feel like going back to what Carol said, I feel like complimenting and catcalling are two very different things.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Like, I remember me and Jamimi, we were walking home one day, and there was this group of guys behind us, and then they started, like, clapping. I don't know, bro, but I feel like they were, like, following us, and now we were, like, we weren't even wearing anything.
It's like every time, like, I go home, like, I walk home, I always call Jamil because there's, like, random people on the side of the road, like, they're always like, oh, hey, mamacita. I'm like, oh my god, no. And then, like, I always call Jamil when I'm walking home because I always want to be on the phone with somebody because I don't want to be bothered by other people and stuff like that. It's something that we shouldn't have to do, but unfortunately, it's like today's day. I mean, this has been like forever, you know, and you know, it's just what we have to do.
And some people they see it as a no. You should be happy that you're getting catcalled.
exactly.
You should be
Oh my God,
happy
okay.
that this is happening.
So like a couple of months ago when I went to Colombia, you know, I feel like it also depends on the culture because like in Colombia it's more casual, I guess. Like it's people are more accepting of men like calling girls or women in general. And then one day we were walking because you walk a lot in Colombia more than you do here. So we were like walking, and I was walking with my aunt, right? And this man, he was like old for real. He was like he said something that was very like inappropriate, and my aunt looked at me and she was like, "Oh, you should be happy because that means that you're like, you know." But no, like you feel disgusting. You feel like they're like looking at you with like, you know, they're like undressing you with their eyes. It's just disgusting. And she was like, "Why are you like? You shouldn't feel that way because like you should feel good that like people view you as like pretty and they want you and stuff." And I'm like, "No, like."
It feels. Yeah, it's like I feel like you don't even have to be dressing like modest to be catcalled. It's like
Exactly.
Literally, when I go to work, I'm literally wearing uniform, and you're checking me out. I'm trying to do my job, and you're checking me out. That's just so crazy. And then you would say something so disgusting, like stop.
yeah, like I feel like it's harder for thicker bodies and
Yeah.
stuff because like you just get catcalled
And
anywhere.
like another reason, I don't think that it should be the blame should be placed on the people who are like, you know, being catcalled. It happened to me when I was 9 years old. 9 years old. I was leaving dance class and my mom needed to go out to the store to buy something. I was wearing my dance clothes. I was wearing shorts. I was pretty much I didn't even notice. My mom told me after. There was this old guy following me, staring at me the entire time we were in the store. I was wearing my dance uniform and I was not it wasn't because I'm out here, I'm a 9-year-old trying to show off my body to people. It was because I just left dance class and that was my uniform. So I think that it's really like really important that we teach other people to be more respectful rather than telling people you need to stop dressing this way because it's not always going to work.
Yeah, but even like when I went to Colombia, I was with my cousins and we were passing the street and I think someone catcalled them and they responded. They were like, "Oh, you're not today." Like they started telling, but then they get backlash. Then they got backlash from other men being like, "Oh, this is why no one wants you," or whatever. Like this and
Yeah.
like
Oh, that girl is crazy.
yeah, that
More
girl's
men
crazy.
should
Nobody wants
understand
them.
the concept
Like-
of unwanted attention.
Mhm.
Yeah, not only men, women too. Like everyone.
Also, I feel like that's true because like I think I saw like a TikTok or something. They was talking about how like you view things depending on the person that's saying that to you, and like I was like, you know what, that's kind of right because like if someone else that I liked said something, I'll be like, oh, stop it,
God.
but like stop it. But like since it's I don't know, I feel like you have to really be careful when you say something because you never know if the person that you're saying that to is gonna like that you're saying that.
Especially if you don't know the person. Like,
Exactly.
imagine you're just walking down the. It's different if like a friend compliments you or the guy you like says something about you, but if it's like some random guy on the street you don't know him, people need to recognize like, okay, this person doesn't know me. They might think that I have bad intentions, right? When you're like going out there and saying things to people.
Yeah, but also like I feel like for girls it's different because girls could come up and be like, "Oh my God, you're so gorgeous!" Like,
But that's
yes.
different.
Gorgeous is different than a lot of catcalling
Then-
that you hear.
yeah.
It's like
Because-
I love it when like a girl will go up to me in public and be like, "Oh my gosh, you're so gorgeous. I love your outfit, whatever." And like if a guy came up to me and said, "Hey, you're really pretty," I'd be very flattered. You're really pretty. You're gorgeous. But it's not the same as being like, "Hey, girl, like oh,
come over here."
like come
I
over,
also
whatever."
wanted to touch really quick because we don't have much time left, but I want to touch really quick on I know we're talking about like modern clothing and like how things are getting like where people are showing like more revealing things or smaller things, but you know how stores and things have like a rule that's like no shirt, no shoes, no entry, but I'll also see girls there in those places that'll have like tiny little tops on that like barely is covering anything and they're allowed in. But guys, if they walk in without a shirt, that's completely crazy.
Well, because
I
they're
think it's because they're still wearing something. So it's like, I guess, you know.
I think that's just cover this area.
Yeah,
Cover
Yeah.
that, and you're allowed in.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what they mean by no shirt. You just can't say cover that. Cover
yeah,
that one
cover,
part.
yeah.
But also, there's a lot of people that think that guys not wearing a shirt it's still okay. It's still modest.
Yeah, even in schools, you know, dress code for guys is so much like lenient, and like these girls like, oh, you can't show your shoulders because it's not like.
And then
And you'll see guys with like
They're wearing
tank tops all the way
and
cut
they're,
down
like,
here.
Their literally jeans are like at their ankles. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's like, no, that's bad, bro.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're about out of time. So today we talked a lot about modesty. I personally align myself with a lot of views of modesty. And some other people don't, and that's perfectly okay. Everybody has different views. This podcast is we all have different views, different places in our lives. But yeah, I think modesty is not as big as a topic nowadays, but it's like as it was in the past. And especially with like modern fashion getting to a place where like things as like if you look on the older views would be considered very unmodest, like they're getting way less modest, whereas today they're seen as modest and they're not revealing. And then things like catcalling and things can also like play an impact in the modesty. Some people think that like what you wear gains you a certain kind of attention, but I think modesty has more to do with your intention and like what you're trying to get out of it.
And what people like other than you think about it too.
I think
Your
there
environment.
I think there should also be more education for men and other people on like modesty and just being kind to people, because that's what it comes down to a lot. Like a lot of these issues are just being kind to people.
Yeah. Yeah, remember this. It takes $0 to be a.
To be a nice person.
Okay, I just want to finish off by saying, you know what? Like, if you feel good in it and you feel
Wear it.
yourself, you know, wear it. Like, wear it. You know.
Unless it's actually harming other people, then you know.
Oh yeah, like
If
maybe.
you feel good in yourself
wearing,
wearing like a
something with,
racist thing, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. But if it's not harming other people and like you feel good in it and you're feeling yourself, then
Like, if you
Like,
want to
why
show your
does it
body,
matter?
that's your body.
Yeah, I would also like kind of be aware of your surroundings, because if you're going to like let's say Chuck E. Cheese and there's like so many children there and you're wearing like something like really like thin and like stringy, you know, like a stringy shirt. I mean, come on, it's Chuck E. Cheese. Why are you wearing that around so many little children, you know? It's kind of like be aware of your surroundings, but
I
you
wish
know,
we had
also feel
time to
comfortable.
touch on the topic of like children, like wearing that for children, but we don't. We're out of time. So thank you so much, Table Talkers, for listening. Thank you for listening to this another episode. This has been 1, 2, 3. TG to the TTI, Teen Girls Table Talk. Woo! Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
You guys are so cute.